Welcome to the 2v2 Agrig Wars. 1 second whilst we're getting into this. Just want to make sure that everyone has spawned correctly. They have. So, this is a best of 1 on Market Square with pre-selected players, very strong players mind you, that are going to be playing as 2 humans, 2 orcs, 2 night elf and 2 undead. Now we're beginning with the humans. MisterWinner starting us off. I'm going to go with the colours obviously on team base so you can kind of get a feel for the mini-map, how it's working. Let me just change up the mini-map. Here we go. There we go. So you can see more clearly the racial distinctions between these Warcraft 3 races. So we're starting off with some human with MisterWinner. Okay, well, I suppose I could do that. Or I can make him blue as well, but let's go with that, and you'll still see the human. If you're familiar with Warcraft 3, you'll be able to identify and distinguish the difference between human, orc, night elf, and undead. I would have thought so by now. The game's been out a while, but if you're new, then I do apologise if this confuses you having a blue human and a silver human, a light grey human, so to speak. Are they both going to go Archmage? No, 1 Archmage, 1 Mountain King. Okay, so that's your human starter with Footman to boot. The Night Elves, that's SK. Oh, did I mention this one? Kemper, that's the one I wasn't sure on. SK Hot is our purple Night Elf. Going with the Ancient of War / Archer to early expand. And there's our Ruvenob. I'm not sure who this fella is. I recognise the name, but I can't remember what his actual real name is or secret account. But either way, starting off with a slower altar, so I assume some sort of tavern hero, perhaps a panda, to compensate alongside the demon hunter, which is overpowered. And then we've got the undead over here. Happy, a very strong undead player. Looks like he's opening out with fiends. Fiends as well for his friend Nafout, which I think is Cechi. So that's you. And then up at the top left, we got Worker. It is a broken race. The Red Orc, who is beginning. Both orcs, Blade Master. This will be interesting. I wonder if they practice this. Let's watch this just for a second, and then I'll hop over to the other races and see what they're doing. Okay, it's interesting. They both don't even start on the same mob. You would have thought that would make more sense, but never mind. SoKoL as well, pumping out Blade Master and Grunts. Down at the bottom right, we've got SK Hot, Foggy, alongside Ruvenob going on that creep camp. What's he going to get out of this one? This is going to be super... Oh, wow. Boost of speed. Really nice pickup. 250 gold you don't have to spend. Oh, we've got the humans over here. Much easier for them to take an expansion, providing they're not being harassed. And I think the majority of races, aside from the undead, will be going for an early expansion simply because undead they're just slower. They're slower to get off the gate, but once they get rolling, they can sometimes be unstoppable. And we'll see how that works out. This is really cool, by the way. I hope you guys appreciate this. Thanks to Arthur, who sponsored this, and Sweet and the rest of the War 3 Arena guys and all of that have made this happen, because this is a really cool thing to see. 2 human versus 2 orc versus 2 night elf versus 2 undead on a really good map. Marketplace is an awesome map. There's lots of fun overpowered items, particularly from the Red Creek camps over here. You can get an Inferno Stone drop, as well as many other overpowered charge star drops, or you might get the dreaded Animate Dead scroll, which is an easy sell. Pendant of Energy, not really great for either Blade Master, but perhaps if they're getting Shadow Hunter second, that could be useful. So the Night Elves have already opened up 1 expansion. They're going for their second. This is going to be difficult, I think, for the Undead. They're going for the tech and the power with the heroes, but they're going to fall apart later on due to economy and not having those expansions. Oh, Blade Masters are going to be so good at sniping this. The humans are brave. They're going straight to the middle, but they're going to be joined alongside Blade Masters and some Night Elf to flank them from behind. This is so bad for the humans right now. Although they're going to get maybe an 80 kit. Oh my god. That was close. Very, very close there by Worker, leaving that right to the edge. Oh, the Night Elves aren't too fussed about the middle. The Undead only have 1 expansion. Yes, potentially. It depends what happens with this one. The top right should more or less guaranteed be theirs. But it's up to the Orcs whether they want to fight for this. Both the humans have clearly taken their expansions because they're more capable. But what's interesting to note here is that MisterWinner, the blue human, out of 2 humans, has taken both of those expansions. So we might have some textile from Kemper whilst MisterWinner just feeds. Now, they can obviously share resources and such, but it is probably preferable that you get your own expansion. But SoKoL and Worker, yeah, they're both getting their own expansions, the Orcs. The Night Elves have each got their own expansions, so I'll be curious to see whether sharing those resources consistently from MisterWinner over to Kemper is going to be detrimental or not, or if Kemper can stay alive long enough, he can make benefit of that feed. We'll have to see. But we've got some creep camp going on over here. Scroll of Resurrection, the second worst one. Although obviously it's arguable as to whether that is really that bad. For example, if you had 6 knights and you resurrected all 6 knights, that's probably a pretty good scroll, but that's in the best kind of scenario. Do you know what I mean? Whereas Scroll of Resurrection, it's good. It's definitely better than Animate Dead. It's just circumstantial. Whereas Inferno Stone, dropping an Inferno on someone is pretty much a guaranteed awesome item. Humans filling up the little creep camps over on the sides. So the expansions look like they're more or less ready to be established by each of the players. Again, no Undead expansion so far, but the tier 3 will be coming for Undead much faster than the other races. Spirit Lodge for Worker, Shadow Hunter following second. Is it going to be another Shadow Hunter? Or it could be Tauren Chieftain, actually. Oh, it is! SoKoL's gone Tauren Chieftain, so that's awesome. They might be able to benefit from that. That means that they might not necessarily need to go 3 heroes. In the long game, you're probably going to want to aim for 3 heroes, but for now, they can concentrate on 2 Blade Masters being awesome, then Shadow Hunter and Tauren Chieftain to get all those sort of benefits, whilst not sort of dipping too heavily into all of their experience pools. Okay, War Golem going down. Normally drops something crap. Wand of Illusion. Nothing spectacular. Maybe if you got some Chimeras, you can make use of that. Speaking of which, what are the Night Elves plans? They've only recently reached tier 2. Panda for Foggy. And there's a creep going off over here. Oh my god, Worker, watch out, boy! Oh, that's so... He's either doing that deliberately. Oh, watch out! He's doing that deliberately or not, I can't tell. Or he's just overstepping. What are you... Man, watch that Shadow Hunter. Really? What are you trying to get at? What are you doing to me? Watch. God blimey. Because he did that earlier with the Blade Master, I think, surviving like 10 health. He's about to get royally screwed over by Cechi, who's now going to benefit from all of that hard work that he put in, losing all of that health. In fact, Cechi might just come in here with Frost Nova.
A player's forces are under attack.
No? Ah, he went Frost Armor first. Okay. We've got a town portal over on the east-hand side. Defense from Rubenov, just to keep one of the Undeads under control. Again. Oh, there goes the Blade Master SoKoL. What's going on, my friend? You are not having an easy time. You're not making it easy for yourself either, though. Let's face it. Oh, it's a Doom Guard. That's a cool one. And what did we get over here on this side? Right, Animate Dead. So no real luck for the Orcs so far. Not looking too good for them. Looks like we're about to see a bit of an engagement in the middle, because the middle's still up for grabs right now. Night Elves are going in strong. They feel confident enough. The humans... He's even saying peace, humans. It's like, we'll let you creep that camp, but we'll take the middle, which is obviously the much better deal for them. But if you're the humans, maybe that's an opportunity you want to take. Oh my god! Mask of Dirth. Well, he's got a Doom Guard as well. This is looking good for Night Elf in balance. Double pandas. Sexy Time says that Night Elf isn't strong. He's so very wrong, because Demon Hunter's got Mask of Death. He's broken without Mask of Death, but with it, we might just see a level 10 Demon Hunter this game. It's going to be pretty crazy, and I'm pretty sure that Mask of Death will work with his ultimate. Even though his ultimate is a ranged ability, it should still stack. It will stack. I'm like 99% confident it will. So you're going to see a metamorphosized demon throwing chaos bolts of freaking hell that give health back to him. That's fair in war, because this is war, and the humans are taking up towards their tier 3. Oh, Kemper is going for the Griffins. Griffins are good to basically fill out and finish off the rest of the red creep camps, which there are still a few, because a lot of the you see a lot of the tough creep camps tend to have heavy armor types. So what that means is that they're very vulnerable to heavy air. So in 4 versus 4 RT, for example, when people fast tech to Frostworms, Chimeras, they can often be rewarded by creeping the hardest of hard camps if they're still available with absolutely no effort, because you can practically free-shot a lot of the units, if not two-shot them, with the right type of unit. So, Let's see how the humans get on. They're moving on to the bottom left. I think... Is it Killing Stagger of Escape and stuff like that? You can get either Ring of Protection +5, which is obviously the most garbage one. You might be able to get Killing Stagger of Escape out of this. You can get Claws of Frost. It's actually Orb of Frost, but I made a Warcraft 3 video a long time ago called Claws of Frost. So now that's what I automatically think of if I think about that item. But what's it going to be? Oh, it's the Ring of Protection. The dirty Ring of Protection +5. Ugh. Well, it's better than dying, but it ain't much more than that, to be quite frank with you. There was so many other better opportunities in terms of items for that. So we'll keep an eye on what we're going to get out of this, and I'll look back at the engagement. Come on. Show me what you're working with. No, I don't want to see the Tome of Strength. Claws of Attack +15. That's not a bad one. If that goes on the Demon Hunter. Claws of Attack +15, plus the Mask of Death. Mask of Death gives you 15%, well, 50% of the attack damage that you deal. And I think, well, actually, to be fair, I'm not sure. Maybe someone else knows. But perhaps that Claws of Attack benefits the Mask of Death, if you see what I mean. Or whether it's just based on your basic stat damage and nothing that's extra applied. But to be honest, I think those two combine. I would be surprised if they didn't. So that's a really good drop for him, basically. Now, the Undead are picking on the Orcs, which isn't a bad idea. Oh, 4 Wyverns coming in straight in front of those Fiends, making happy, a very happy Undead. The Undead are looking really good at this spot. The Orcs, though, they've all bloodlusted up, and there's no actual counter for that. There's no destroy. Well, there's one destroyer, but I don't think that's enough to keep all of that bloodlust under control. The Undead, oh my goodness, the Blademaster's double teaming on the up. Freaking Undead Lich, and now the Death Knight is next on the list. Invulnerability Potion, very nice opportunity. SoKoL trying to get a stun there just before the Invulnerability Potion goes off. Nice attempt. Now we've got more pressure. The Undead are actually falling apart a little bit here. The Orcs are actually doing great. Those Blademasters are carrying them to high hell. And look at that, the damage, the bloodlust of the Blademaster. They're going crazy right now. They have been pulled out a little bit, where they're a little bit more vulnerable. The Undead are looking a little bit stronger again, but again, the Frost Armor and the Death Knight keeping them just a little bit more safe versus the focus. But the Lightning Proc going off, taking away that Frost Armor. Tauren Chieftain about to go down. Orcs might have to back out of this position because the Undead have rallied themselves underneath. It's just up to the Undead Death Knights to keep coiling each other, which they do have enough mana to do so. So now the Orcs are forced back. There's a Scroll of Animate Dead going off of SoKoL. He gets 2 Fiends out of it. Whoop whoop. Oh, hang on a second. A Grunt. Not bad at all. Good value. 1 Blademaster down to the double team with the Panda / Death Knight Death Coil. That is impressive, actually. The Undead are basically capitalizing on not getting that expansion earlier to get a more powerful army / tier 3 unit composition, as well as Orb of Hwam. That's Orb of Corruption for the unknown. And the Orcs are defeated. This is a game over for them unless one of the other races comes in to intervene. So, for those counting the Undead out at the start, not necessarily. The Undead are bloody good at picking off vulnerable units such as Orc Peons or their units because they have strong tier 3 like Frost Worms, as well as just, yeah, Undead Imbalance. Yeah, could be Undead Imbalance. A happy hippo just going about his business. Where'd he go? Oh, there he is. Okay, well, the Orcs are out. So that leaves up these spots for the Undead to grab. Meanwhile, we've got the Night Elf and the Human going at it, which means that if they cause friction between one another, the Undead will have more control over the map because the Undead will be less likely to be contested unless we get to some sort of state where the players say, look, let's team up on the Undead. So they've got to be careful, these two. Now, the Humans have an opportunity as well to take the top left, whereas the Night Elves don't.
A player's forces are under attack.
So this is what's interesting, is it's really in the Night Elf's interest, more than anyone else's, to get some sort of parlay between the Humans. Because the Night Elves are going to have the hardest time benefiting from those open slots for expansions. Although they've just taken this, which must have been the Humans' towers, I think. Shade Seas. Undead are strong. Well, there you go. Because we saw the 3v3 scenario where it was Human, Orc, and Night Elf against 3 Undead, and it didn't go too well for the Undead. But we might see something different here. Undeads, mass air humans. Oh, this is so dirty. They're actually starting to coordinate with each other in regards to what the undead players are doing. But yeah, that's the undead's worst nightmare, is they don't have a good counter to human workshop units. Tanks, they do have some sort of resource against mortars, but tanks and gyrocopters particularly are a little bit tricky to deal with as undead if those units get a little too crazy. It's 250 subscribers, thank you very much, Silverine. So Silverine is a bad friend because it's 250 subscribers, not 200. That's why I haven't got any new sub emotes. Otherwise, I'll be straight on that. So an apology from Silverine would be most appreciated. When you're ready, you know, don't rush yourself. But if I could see a little sorry in the chat, that would make me a bit happier. I do like to get people to apologise if they do backseat game. And that is a form of backseat gaming, to be quite frank with you, Silverine. So, the Undeads are moving up on the Night Elf, which is a good target. The only problem is they're letting the humans get strong. The humans don't care about the Night Elves, of course they don't. The Night Elves are basically next up for the chopping block here, unless they can find a way to contest versus that Undead imbalance. But the Undead, if they clear out the Night Elves, they can then take the bottom right of the map. You can argue, like I said earlier, they have the top side, but if they try to take that without killing the Night Elf, then they're going to have to fight first as a human, whilst the Night Elf are probably going to try to take them out as well. It's a free-for-all situation. And this is what happens in free-for-all, is you get these awful moments where, even though you've got off to a good start and you killed another player, this now makes you vulnerable against everyone else, because now they're thinking about going for you! That is so many gyrocopters. The undead, I think they won't want to teleport out of that. I don't know. They're going to try it, I think. Oh, the breath of fire, as well as the destroyer soaking up all the mana from the statues before going up. If they can try to obliterate, no, it's too late. They're trying to get out of this. So much damage is already taken. They needed a bit more time to prepare for that, and then they could get the destroyer splash, because the destroyers, when they soak up the mana with absorb mana from statues, particularly before they go into more destroyers, they get a splash style magical attack, and that's another way to fill up. Depending on how much mana they got, it costs like 20 mana per orb splash, which is that purple thing you're seeing come out of them, and that's very good versus like gyrocopters massed up. Did I get an apology from Silverine? I'm just checking. I don't think I've seen one yet, so she needs to get on that. Okay. Humans looking good, to be frank with you. I will, now that I feel we've got to that point in the game where I could probably just quickly go over their resources. Maybe they're right. I'll go over their resources first. So, looking at Cechi, he's an undead. No expansions for him so far, but he's got 63 food with 250 gold, 300 wood. Now we've got Happy, 80 food. Hang on a second. Cechi had 63 food. Happy with 80 food, and he has got an expansion, but he's only at about 120 gold. The expansion has, well, 11,000 gold left in it, which is a decent amount. Now, moving over to our Night Elf brethren, Ruvanov. 60 food. Looks like he's trying to produce chimeras. Very nice. If they can get mass hippos and chimeras, that was one of my favourite things to do back in the day, playing as a Night Elf player. In free-for-all was Demon Hunter, Keeper of the Grove, Priestess of the Moon, mass hippos, or chippos, because you get chimeras and hippos and you just combine them, and it will be called chippos. Very, very powerful, but obviously quite easily counted if you can get like millions of tanks or millions of gyrocopters, but that's very specific. Oh, Foggy with 2 expansions. Each expansion, what, 15, basically 14,001, 7,500 gold another, and he's got 3,500 gold right now. So the Night Elves actually aren't looking quite as dire as I wanted. This is why I wanted a moment just to sort of explain the player's situation just before we go further into the game. Wow, Kemper at 98 food. Mining out of no gold mines, so he can stay at 98 food, to be fair. That was part of their strategy, I suppose. So Kemper's at, although, to be honest, it looks like MisterWinner's got a hell of a lot. So Kemper's got 98 food, 1,000 gold, 1,000 wood. MisterWinner at 100 food, 2,400 gold, and 1, 2, 3 expansions. And now an aggressive push against the Undead, who can't even respond to this unless they're coming from behind. They're going to give it a go. There's now steam tanks to deal with, which is not very good for Undead. They don't want to see steam tanks, so they need to make as much damage to this as they can. Fiends are going to be great, trying to keep those Griffins under control. They can pull back just a little bit more, web as many Griffins as possible, but this looks really good for the humans right now. It's kind of up to the Pandas at the moment, how much damage they can do versus the Gyrocopters and tanks, as well as dealing with the Mountain King. The Undeads coiling each other, looking pretty good, but it's still getting a little bit messy here. The Griffins starting to engage further on into the Fiends. Destroyers pulling back out of the tank's range, but the tank is just going to keep on chugging into the fight as it progresses. We've got Blood Mage, we've got Archmage, we've got Pandas with more Breath of Fire, 140 mana right now. Stormbolt, Banish combo, Unhappy's Panda. He's just got to get back the Bash proc. He's 12 health. Wow. And we've got more of a Cechi being pushed back on the left-hand side. Too many Griffins for him to deal with. Is there a coil? Because at the moment he's silenced. I don't see a coil opportunity. Panda still trying to stay alive just long enough to get out for the town portal. And Cechi is being pushed back by just an absolutely absurd amount of Griffins right now. So the Undead's expansions are looking a little bit
A player's forces are under attack.
less than stellar. I think the Night Elves right now are just looking for an opportunity to maybe get some more creep camps and such. They didn't even pick on the humans expansion, although now that they've looked at the situation, what's left and available, I think they might go for it. Oh, lovely move there with the bear as well. That's higher level play. It's not super complicated, but you get one bear in there for raw, and it gives everything, you know, like plus 20% damage or whatever it is, 25% maybe. It's a lot. One bear, just one or two bears, is worth putting into your army if that many units benefit from that buff. Okay, let's have a look. Cechi looking a bit more calm now over here. Happy. Don't know just how happy he is with the Undead dealing with a human. Night Elves stocking up. Potions, scrolls, galore. Loads all over those heroes. Look at that. A lot of these players, I think, have held on to those Doom Guards because that's kind of like, okay, we're in a last 1 versus 1 battle now. So when they get down to the last brass tacks, or when they absolutely have to survive, they might be more tempted to use their scrolls or their, you know, their Doom Guards. Okay. Night Elf base looking really solid, actually. That's nice layout, that is. Lots of space to move in, but at the same time still quite blocked off. The expansion doesn't look too happy, though. This one almost looks like a campaign level. Ancient Protectors are not the best. Oh, so many hippos getting in there before the tanks are even in position. The Griffins should kind of pull back at this moment, but they're not. They're just going for it. The Gyrocopters are compensating a little bit, but you can see the scrolls of healing going off on those hippogriffs, and there'll be another scroll of healing. Just keeps those hippogriffs alive long enough to kill the critical mass, but those tanks are now into play. So much damage done to the Night Elf here. Pulling back. All those hippos are now gone. There's still lots of Gyrocopters left, and still a few Griffins, actually. So the Night Elf didn't come out of that fight, despite having a pretty good start. All that well. 50-50, maybe. Not terrible, not terrible. It kind of went well for both players, in a way. Hard to really distinguish who came out of that the best. I guess what really matters is the hero levels now, as we start to move into the triple heroes territory, because like I say, 2 heroes, good to start off with, get that experience going, but then you want the 3rd hero for the later game. It's definitely a lot more tricky, by the way, to control a 3rd hero. Most people don't really go 3rd hero, mostly because it's just effort. And it's a lot of effort. If it detracts from your natural gameplay and you make a lot of mistakes because you got that extra hero, that can sometimes be worse than sticking to 2 heroes. But every hero counts here. 3 heroes. Imagine if this goes late game enough that you have 3 level 10 heroes. That's pretty important. So 3 level 10 heroes are better than 2 level 10 heroes. Witty states the obvious. I think these expansions and gold mines are still going to last for a little bit. There's still going to be quite a lot of contestment. I don't think the Undead are particularly banking gold. The humans do not want peace. They want territory. You know what we're like. We stop at nothing. We destroy nature. And that's what they're attempting to do, but nature's looking a little bit stronger versus these gyrocopters because they're not quite so messed up this time, but the tanks are still doing a great job just trying to keep the overall air under control. But so many chimeras means that those tanks do have to pull back because they are going to take a lot longer than the hippogriffs to bring down, and you can't sit there forever with tanks. Peace humans. They're even saying, look mate, we've got the upper hand. They don't really, but in that battle they did pretty well. So that was a good one to state, you know what, we're calling the shots now. See if the humans go ahead with it. I don't know. They're getting a lot more dragon hawks now. Yeah, I suppose that does nullify the 5 food chimeras for a 3 food dragon hawk, but you got to keep it alive long enough that it doesn't get destroyed by the hippogriffs. So you need more tanks to then back up those hawks so that they can kill the hippogriffs before the hippogriffs kill the dragon hawks that are ensnaring the chimeras. But the undead, no, forget about the undead. Just because I'm looking at undead, I'm saying it now. The night elf have just got to keep stocking up on those healing scrolls, which you can see they got at least one left on the Keep of the Grove there. None left on the Ruvenov heroes. Night Elf expansion, Human Towers, and Undead Destroyer. Who's screwing who over here? Look at this. He's not even finished off that last peasant, so he wants him to build the towers or something, but he... weird. This is a nice move, but the Undead are onto it. The Undead are going to want as much expansions as possible, or as many. Yeah, Frostworms. We've got Banshee Master Training. So you could see some possession here, which is a really smart move by the Undead if they can drag this out long enough, because they could potentially possess a human peasant, pull it back. It'd take a long time to get to tier 3 though, but they could do it and get workshop units, tanks. Imagine Undead with tanks. Frostworms and mass tanks. Jesus. That's something to deal with. Anyway, Human shuts down that Night Elf expansion. Human says, look, you had it for about, I don't know, a minute. It's ours now. So the humans, if you look at the blue on the map, are looking pretty good. They've got basically the best units for a free-for-all scenario, or some of the best units, tanks and gyros. Undead are always really, really strong in free-for-all scenarios because of the power of their undead nuke. It's particularly when you get to stalemate situations where gold starts to run a bit dry. If you can one-shot units with coil nova combinations, particularly if you're in unison with another allied undead that's throwing coil, so that's 300 damage, although bear in mind that if you do it first as a hero, it's only going to do 70% damage, so 300 coil would actually be more like 230 damage. But anyway, we're just assuming it's going to be 300. So 300, 600, 725, 850 with just their nukes in unison, and that's not counting any hits from units. So it's basically 850 damage. So they can basically one-shot Dragon Hawks, and with a little bit of a poke, they can one-shot Griffin Riders. And definitely one-shot Priests. Multi-shot Priests, to be quite frank with you. So Undead don't do too badly in free-for-all scenarios, although we're about to find out how well they do versus Night Elf with mass hippos and shims. Not sure the Night Elf want this fight though. I guess they're going for it, but the humans are going to get carried away. The Banshees want to be far back here. Scroll of Protection, they want this fight because they've already buffed up. We've got the Panda moving in. So much anti-magic shell. Did someone say anti-magic shell? Yes. The Undead are fleeing a little bit too much here, taking a lot of damage whilst moving back into new positions, which means that the Night Elf are getting a lot of free damage. The Pandas are starting to move in. Panda also here for the Undead, bear in mind. That's Happy's Panda over there. But those Banshees are now getting obliterated. The Chimeras, they do magic damage, and it gets absorbed, I believe, by the anti-magic shell. I think so, but because they do so much damage to Chimeras, there is actually a smart move here by the Undead. There's a reason why they're moving back so much. It's because you were watching what's happened to these... watch another Nova go off on those. There you go. There's the reason why they were moving back. They've lost a lot of units to move back, but it's so that they could try to find a way to pick off those hippos, because the hippos are the main threat, because the Undead air is what they're trying to focus on powering up. And if they can pick off enough of those hippos, they can actually start to dominate this fight. And they should be okay if they can keep each other alive long enough. Nicely done. The destroyers are still looking strong. The bears are going to go down very shortly. And then the heroes just need to keep alive. Lovely coil there, bailing out. Happy's... oh my goodness, they've got the humans now destroying the undead expansion. That's very distracting for the undead right now. Chimera's still pushing in so strong. The lich is going to go down. And now we've got the panda trying to get himself to a new position, but he needs mana to get more of those breath of fires. There's so little going well for the undead right now. He's actually having the town portal out. Those chimeras are just battering rams. Obliterating the undead there. Oh my god. Down goes the Death Knight. And Happy's heroes, leaving them with just some destroyers. And a almost obliterated base. It will soon be, unless the humans intervene. But the humans are actually clearing up the undead scourge. Because they don't like undead either, do they? Let's face it. So, looks like we're coming down to human versus night elf. Because I don't know how you come back from that. Aside from both the human and the night elf player just leaving them alone. What? Humans were honest. Nice suicide. You killed them! What are you talking about? You killed them. If you wanted the humans to be having a tougher time, you would have kept the undead alive, because the undead were going to keep them under control on the left-hand side. But now the night elf are going to have to make the best of this situation, which is going to come down to their heroes more than anything else. I'm thinking of the demon hunter and the panda, particularly the panda for dealing with the gyrocopters and the siege engines. But how long is that panda going to stay alive for when banished bolt and griffin combo is afoot? Oh, that was an unfortunate move there from Foggy. But now it pressures all of the night elf units. Yeah, I was going to say you've got to say no. Gargoyles, yeah, maybe. If there's a little bit more leeway with the humans building less gyrocopters and less siege engines, I guess. I guess that's partly why they probably opted to not go for gargoyles. They would have liked to go gargs, but they know that they're just going to lose them versus the humans. So it was a tough situation for the undead there, to be frank with you. Their units, apart from frostworms, don't really cut it. Destroyers are great, but when you get to these mass levels where you're seeing just pure hippos and shims. Where's my procaster Andy? That's a good question, actually.
Where is your co-caster Andy?
I don't know, actually. I haven't checked on Skype. To be quite frank, I was earlier. I've only been back like an hour or so, if that really. So I had to pick up a new mobile phone today, and I went to go pick it up. Well, I went to go buy it, but they didn't have the one I wanted in stock, so now it's had to be ordered. But anyway, let's concentrate back on this. The Night Elf are looking for an opportunity to engage. It's just looking so good for the human right now, fully upgraded with those mass siege engines. And, wow, that expansion. Panda gets a bit of a breath of fire, but it doesn't get that much done. Oh, there we go. This is all the Night Elf can really hope to do, is to just keep working with the Panda and try to obliterate those tanks, because you can see how much damage it gets done. That human moving in there. Those workshop units going to town. Oh, those gyrocopters with the flat cannons hitting so many freaking feathery hippos. How many hippos are going to get killed? How many scrolls are here? We actually have got the demon hunter sticking around though. He needs to get into position and do something with that Mask of Death and cause of attack. He actually is in metamorphosis mode, but these units are getting absolutely destroyed. Trying to utilize the towers, but the towers aren't putting too much in. The pandas have still got some mana, so they're able to throw down Breath of Fire every now and then. Human are looking a little bit more battered, so it comes down to how many reserves the Night Elves actually have, and they don't have much. 250 gold for Foggy, 70 gold for Ruvenob. So if they had a lot more gold, then that might be looking better for them, but right now not so much, because the humans have absolutely tons of gold on the top left-hand side of the map, so they can afford to go toe-to-toe to have these fights where each player loses a whole bunch of units, because they can restore those units easily. Look how many expansions there are for human players. It's almost the entire map right now. Those priests with the inner fire is actually a nice touch, because it's utilising the fact that the Night Elves haven't produced anything that can counter those priests. So, apart from Mass Chimeras getting a few shots off of Breath of Fire, the priest can get a little bit of bonus from the inner fire, and inner fire is actually really nice for tanks. The Night Elves could use wisps to detonate. That's actually a strategy, but again, that's sort of like disposable income is required for that, and they don't have all that much of it. Tanks are now looking for opportunities to be annoying, as the humans just try to take up every single gold mine available, but there's one left here that Foggy's trying to claim for himself.
Players' forces are under attack.
Blood Mage at level 4 now. Mountain King at level 6. Might see a Cosmodon. The tanks are in a pretty good position to deal with the hippos, but not versus the pandas. Oh! I thought that Mountain King was going to go down. Why not take the potion and then use Avatar? Never mind. I guess he's too distracted with everything else that's going on, but... in the heat of the moment, it's easier to say these things. This is why backseat gamers are annoying, boys and girls. I'm looking at you in the chat. Because when you're fighting this, when you're playing this, it's a whole different kettle of fish. When someone's watching it, it's a little bit easier to say these things. Oh my, this is going rough for the humans right now. This is a huge level. Yeah, I wish I managed to put the D&D on. I'll try now, but I hope that works. Very slow. Do you like getting owned by Twitch chat now? Do you like getting owned by Twitch chat? Yeah, it's pretty good actually. So as long as I keep the D&D on, basically out of it. One less saddo in the world. Okay. So the human players are looking pretty good. Level 6 Archmage. Scroll of Sanctuary. I haven't really seen that. Staff of Sanctuary rather. Used too much. But I suppose there's so much going on in these battles. It's hard to keep track of it. Very good unit. Particularly for tanks actually in the late game. Night Elves trying to take these expansions back, which is the correct thing to do if there's an opportunity to do it, which they currently have this weird power shift. The humans were dominating for a long time there, and it's suddenly it's like Night Elves are just comfortably like, yep, we're in charge now. Yep. And also, the Night Elf do have that racial advantage of being able to uproot their trees when they're finished to move over to a new location. And this looks like a nice home for them, which is where I think they're going to go. Because they're going to try to clear this up anyway with units and towers. Okay. Well, I can't do much about this, so that's just have to get blocked out. It's so sad. It's unbelievable. Someone has dedicated their life to harassing me. I guess I should be complimented, but how fucking sad is that for them? It's a compliment for me, because I don't do anything towards it. But they've got to spend all of their life and all of their time harassing me every single day. Well, feel bad for you, son. But I guess your life is so sad that I guess you don't care at that point. I want to see these humans go to town. I reckon they'll take it. Because they're building up their reserves, like I say. It's just a matter of time. The Night Elf managed to pick off their units. But the humans are able to really easily replenish those units. And now they're going to force a big fight here. Cloud's going down. I'm not sure the Night Elf want a town portal to engage versus this. Okay. Night Elves... I would probably just let that go now. Enough of it's gone, but I suppose they want to try to do something here. It comes down to those Breath of Fires versus the Gyrocopters. The Hippogriffs are taking a lot of damage here. You can see their health dropping fast. The tanks aren't even all on them. And there's a lot of spread damage going out here. The Metamorphosis is doing a nice job, though, versus the Gyrocopters. But the Banish actually keeps him under control, so he can't do quite so much damage. Now the Priestess of the Moon actually getting close to level 6 with this. We could see some clarity... what am I looking for? Anti-Magic Shell, but it's the potion one. But anyway, you know what I mean. Yeah, Anti-Magic Shell, Priest of the Moon, level 6, Starfall, action. Panda's being chased down by the Mountain King! And now the Night Elf are being forced back. They did deal with that, but it is definitely a problem right now at this stage. Oh, here we go. Kemper pulling back. The Metamorphosized Demon Hunter ain't done yet. That lasts for 60 seconds, that Metamorphosis. 60 whole seconds, although it is on a 3-minute cooldown, so you've essentially got 2 minutes without the Metamorphosis, but it's so powerful when it's there. Now we've got some more Night Elf moving in. We've got some Lord of the Rings style treants trying to bring down Saruman's forces. But normally it would be Orcs defending that, but hey, in this case it's the White Wizard. And looks like those Ents are actually going to do pretty good versus these towers, because they're not really making too much of a dent, particularly with the trees that are able to heal up those trees over time. Each tree gives you 500 health over like 12, 15 seconds, maybe 30 seconds to be honest. It could be quite a long time. So this is really starting to look pretty good for the Night Elf, but again, I'm not counting the human out. I'm just surprised that the Night Elf have done as well as they have done. That hero though, when it gets level 6 Priestess of the Moon, that could be the case. Oh, thank you very much there, Herc Speedy, for the subscription. Very, very kind of you to do so. Thank you very much for supporting. I appreciate that. These Night Elf, one of those, well, here we go, here we go. So will they respond to this? Because this is one of the last expansions that the Night Elf have access to. They still got a bit of gold from that. But this is kind of really important that they keep hold of it. Mountain Kings, the heroes are still looking good. The units are looking pretty healthy for the Night Elf. There is Charm, a Dragonhawk being taken. Interesting. I guess just take it when you can. Panda moving in with the Drunken Haze Breath of Fire, really softening up those Griffins. Mountain Kings actually being entangled just to keep them somewhat under control. But the Hippos getting a little bit of damage for the Gyrocopters, but taking a lot of damage back. Can the Mountain King reach the Panda? Stormbolt. No, he's lost his target. Just standing still, confused. Not sure what to do now. Which way do I go? This way? Do I go that way? The humans are now chasing hard. The Night Elf pulling back. They do have the Moonwells to replenish their units, their heroes, their health, their mana. But it's back to the human mass of Gyrocopters, Dragonhawks and Griffins. That's really the problem here. Let's have a look. Let's get hot. Looking at 5 wisps on the gold mine. There's only 3,000 gold over here on the top right, which ain't too much to be frank with you. What the hell? Oh, that's why that kid... I saw a Chimera flying amongst those human units earlier. And I saw the charm, but it's because of the colours, and I just thought for a second it was a Night Elf one for a moment there. I was like, how the hell is he getting to fly through those human units without any trouble whatsoever? Pandas... Well, the heroes can actually probably keep some of the economy under control of the humans, but bear in mind that you've got Arcane Mana, which does drain a lot of mana, which the Panda needs to hold on to for dear life to be as effective as he can be. The Breath of Fire is the key. Send him back, soak up those Moon Juice, get him back up to like near full mana, and off he goes. So we're looking at 389 gold, 400 for Foggy, 46 food, 20 food for Ruvenob, and 54 food for MisterWinner. Bear in mind that they still got these expansions pretty comfortably set up, although that one's looking a bit more dire. MisterWinner at 54 food and 800 gold. 84 food for Kemper. I'd say it still looks favourably towards the human. It just comes down to any guerrilla style tactics that the Night Elf have that they can employ. Nice Breath of Fire, but it looks a little bit vulnerable when they have the Fountain of Health to just go back to. But I suppose you've got to give it a go, haven't you? Chuck it in there. There's only one tank. Have they stopped producing tanks now? Do they feel like they don't need tanks at this stage and they can more confidently go into heavier air so that they can nuke down the heroes? Because the more Griffins you get, the more damage you can do versus the heroes, which the heroes are going to be kind of a real issue here. 2 Pandas. Demon Hunter, Keeper of the Grove. Priestess of the Moon. Oh no, hang on a second. Triple Human. Really over-engaging a little bit there, but we've got the Night Elf units. Human units on the left-hand side, just trying to keep things under control. Okay. Even the music's gone still. It's very calm. But it won't be for long because this expansion is looking a little bit in risk. Comes down to how well the Night Elves are going to deal in this engagement. The Pandas need a couple of opportunities to throw down some Breath of Fire to at least soften up the human units before a full-on engagement. But it looks tricky for the get-in. Nice use of Kemper's Dart Ranger, though. That silence really messes up that opportunity of the Pandas just dipping in and then throwing a Breath of Fire, then dipping out and doing it again and again. So that silence That Dart Ranger was actually a very smart pick there, to be honest, from Kemper. Always have one Dart Ranger, I suppose, in these kind of free-for-all combo situations. Bit harder to do in a one... Well, when you're playing as a single player, but as a team, one player can be dedicated to get that silence. Even the Mountain King is silenced at the moment because there's so many Dart Rangers. Oh, Metamorphosis is back. We're ready to go. Looks like the Gyrocotters are really heavy going to the Keep of the Grove. Oh, and there's the Starfall. How long is that going to last for? Where the hell's the Priestess of the Moon? I can't even see that. There she is. She actually is going... Oh, she got away with that. Wow. But the humans have actually mopped up everything else. The Gyrocopters got taken down, but not enough damage was done by that Starfall to deal with the Griffins. So the chase is on from the humans. The Night Elf are really starting to suffer now. Looks like an attempt to try to get something done here with the Demon Hunter, but it's not looking good. No, the Panda's down. 1 mana burn. I guess you get what you can get, but it looks like the humans with their Chimera are chasing hard. Moonwell, this is it. Keep that Demon Hunter alive. He's going to be able to fight off this entire army. Maybe. He's only got Metamorphosis for a little bit more time. And the Pandas are actually doing a good job trying to get that Mountain King under control. Are there any more heals? No, there aren't. So the Town Portal is being used at this point. Okay. Kemper. Utilizing that Dart Ranger once more. Staff of Sanctuary. Keeping that Chimera alive. Because it's going to heal up now. 1,000 health for free. Not bad at all. So the humans are now clearly mopping up the show here. They've got the benefit of being able to go to the middle without too much contestment. And the Night Elves see this, so they take the opportunity to just poke at an expansion, get some experience, try to drain some of the enemy's resources, but it's not made easy for them. They've got no expansions other than this one, and it's actually going to be killed by a level 3 water elemental right here. The pressure is over here, so he didn't actually throw down the cancel. Now what's interesting about both of the players, or both of the teams having a Dart Ranger, is that they can charm the units back from one another. So you might see some tug of war with the unit charm, but I think we've got to that stage now. I just want to say I'm impressed with the Night Elf players for actually hanging in there that long, because the humans were looking pretty strong for a certain deterministic amount of time, but the Night Elves, I think they've run out of their units. 20 food is pretty much just their heroes left, whereas the humans have the units and the heroes. So this is going to be too hard to contest. There's no way to really nuke down those heroes with a Paladin and a Blood Mage being able to banish and Holy Light if need be, or just Holy Light is enough normally. As well as the Staff of Sanctuary being able to save units. The Dart Ranger is the one that could be focused because she can't be healed, but she can also just be sent just as easily back with a Staff of Sanctuary, or, you know, keep her banished. That is such a large army. Such a crazy large army. How do you deal with that? There's not even any gold over here, but there are obviously a few more units. Maybe the Keep of the Grove gets level 6. We could get Tranquility. And take the win! That is not even interested. Double Priestess of the Moon, Sentinel Owl. Tracking it down, or just one Priestess of the Moon's Sentinel Owls, because the cooldown's pretty good on those, actually, after a while. Oh.
A player's forces are under attack.
Okay. I'll copy and paste that then. Big battle going on over here. Does look like we've got some Night Elf hanging in there, but not really, because the cloud is just so strong right now at this stage. Griffin's chasing down those heroes. Even Gyrocopter's having a go. The Gyrocopter's like picking on the Keep of the Grove, but this looks like a sealed deal. Priestess of the Moon, last ditch attempt. She is gonna get bashed. She's cycloned. Nice job there with the Cyclone, keeping the Mountain King under control. It's the only one that can really stop the Priest of the Moon, aside from pure damage, or a combination of Stormbolt and damage. Metamorphosized Demon Hunter, trying his best, mopping up quite a few here. with the breath of fire from the panda, but there's just too much going on at this point. But look how many units are actually so vulnerable right now. One panda, if he got to the middle, could pick off so much there right now at this point. Night Elves are just definitely valiantly fighting strong, but again, despite the humans losing so much just to try to get some more damage done in a Night Elf bases and pick off a hero or two, they're losing an entire army to do so. So it just comes down to how much gold they can just keep funneling to fuel those units, because the Night Elves seem to be better capable of dealing in stalemate situations than humans. Humans look like they're a little bit more dependent on their units to carry them, which is why it was so important for these human players, MisterWinner and Kemper, to focus on keeping those expansions more than the Night Elves. So you can see how they utilize those expansions to basically keep themselves in the game, because if they were even on gold, the Night Elves probably would have actually taken this, to be quite frank. But they're so vulnerable. They pull back, they get healing for free, it takes 30 or 40 seconds, but then they're back in the game. Dark Ranger having to be spawned out of the altar. That's a lot of trees. We've also got the Keeper of the Grove. So the Dark Ranger and the Keeper of the Grove going down. Demon Hunter Panda still alive there for Foggy. Another expansion for the humans. Why not? Seal the deal. Get the last expansion. Even building a barracks to get the animal war train. Wow! Went this long without animal war training. Did they just forget they could get that? Animal war training is 175 health. 150 health, sorry.
Welcome to Free
on
for
each
All.
unit. Oh, thank you very much,
Everyone's
Loffagus.
a fucking lucker except for you.
A player's
今じ
Yeah,
ゃ
you
ギ
could
フ
have-
アイセーブドアップクッドベイパーファップスボットン A new game or 2
You'll have to get Subnautica. Why not that, Loffagus? I've completed Subnautica, so that's still I'm done with that now. I've completed that game, finished it. I've done everything in it. Seen the sea dragon, discovered the lava castle. It was good. So that might be one you were interested in if you like those survival style games, and dipping in and out of air for every like 60 seconds just so you don't die. Okay. MisterWinner able to pick off a lot of vulnerable trees, because when they're uprooted they've got heavy armor, which means they get absolutely obliterated by heavy damage or pretty much anything that's strong, which a lot of these stuffs are strong. And the knights, the choice. So they didn't favour the animal war grade, even though it upgrades the griffins and the dragonhawks, but as soon as they start producing knights, now you get it. Or maybe it's because it's the other human doing it. MisterWinner wasn't the one with the dragon, orcs and griffins, so that's probably... No, that's what that was about. Okay, fair enough. My mistake. There was no need. What you were watching, you was watching MisterWinner. Get that. Okay. Over here, we've got the last of the treants trying to get out, but it's looking really bad right now. Okay. Last Stormbolt. Bear takes it like a champ, actually.
A player's forces are under attack.
Okay. I'm surprised the Knights haven't given up, but I suppose they're having fun, but it's quite clear to see, even as a player, for someone that doesn't have all the observation. Oh, wow. We've got Phoenix now. Just everything thrown in there. And Metamorphosis has run out, so you haven't even got that to rely on. Dark Ranger being chased hard. Soaking up a few more moon juices. Keeper of the Grove. Not sure where to get in position for Tranquility, but I guess that'll do. Last ditch attempt. There's a lot of human units breaking through those Night Elf barricades. And the Demon Hunter himself having to get out with his Staff of Teleportation. Can he make it? Yes. But I'm not sure what he's going to do with that. But why not, I guess. And there's the Paladin Resurrection ability going off. So it doesn't work on air units, but if you've got mass ground units, you can definitely get a lot of use out of it. Well played by all, to be fair. The Undead even looked like they had a good chance on it. The Orc, if they hung in there long enough, the Blade Masters might have been able to carry a lot of fights, but we'll never know, I guess. Right, there you go. That is the 2v2v2v2. I think that was enough. 2 for all, I call it normally. Agrig Race Wars. So that's the part of the Agrig Fun Games. Number 2, I believe. And what a game that was. Good fun best of 1. Alright, well, hopefully you enjoyed this. Make sure to thumbs up if you did. And have a good one.